Welcome back to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, LitecoinLeader. Today, we're talking about another coin. This is a coin that's been one of my favorites for a long time, and it's got a lot of staking rewards, but not as much as it used to, which has caused a little bit of a retrace. And this project is called Zilliqa, or ZIL. And we're going to talk about the news. We're going to talk about what it does and how it's a potential Ethereum killer. It is a smart contract platform. It has sharding, it has a lot of the features that Ethereum 2.0 will eventually have if and when it ever gets there. But it's also got great staking rewards. And part of the reason I like the staking for Zilliqa was it was so easy. I actually made a very popular video making 40% on it. Unfortunately, that traction is now gone because GZIL was not part of the equation anymore. GZIL mining ended in October, so there's a little bit less staking rewards, but it's still pretty darn good. It's still double digit, and it's a relatively inexpensive coin, not financial advice, but it's a relatively inexpensive play for potential Ethereum killers. So let's go over the news, let's go over the charts, and we'll go to my conclusion at the end. Just a quick reminder that nothing in this video is considered financial advice. I am not your financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Seek out your own advice and do your own diligence, do your own research. So, this is the part of the video where I talk about all the news and all the information about the particular coin and why I like it so much. As you can see by the probably 20 tabs I have open, there's a lot to talk about with Zilliqa, and I had to stop myself because I probably could have gone further and further. That is one of the things I do, is I do a lot of research, especially on projects I really like. That's where I put the work in for you guys. That you subscribe to LitecoinLeader.com or the YouTube site, you get all this information in the condensed video format rather than the hours of conversation or information that I digest. So Zilliqa, I'm going to keep it high level as much as possible. I will get technical a little bit towards the end. I'll try to keep it as high level as possible. So here we go. Zilliqa. First thing, unstoppable domains. Those are websites you can buy that exist on the blockchain. They're .crypto or .zil extension websites. They're now supported by the Brave browser. They're being, you add extensions for Chrome. They're more and more prevalent. Once you buy this website, you own it forever. It exists on the blockchain. You don't have to renew it every year. You own it. So you can do lots of things with that website. That's number one, which is a pretty cool thing that Zilliqa has done. Number two, Zilliqa, being a competitor to Ethereum, has built an interoperability path with Poly Network that allows projects in the Ethereum platform to migrate over. So because Zilliqa is smart contract based in their language, you can port over an Ethereum project. If say you're doing an Ethereum project and you're tired of all the fees being so high, you want to switch blockchains. Zilliqa is building that with the Poly Network to make that possible. Zilliqa also has a large capital investment team that is based in Asia, India, and Singapore, and where the teams are based. And they've got a huge amount of key players that have a lot of context in the industry in that region of the world. So they're investing in DeFi and other platforms that are just like, rather than them developing, they're investing in insurance and wealth management and payments. And they have a whole team dedicated just to explore these possibilities in the DeFi sector rather than building them on their own. ZIL also has ZILSwap. Now, ZILSwap is their decentralized exchange, or DEX. You can see by this image right here from Twitter, from Amrit, who's I think he's the CEO of Zilliqa. ZILSwap is the 7th largest DEX already. It's just below 1 inch, and you have Uniswap and Curve and SushiSwap at the top, obviously, but it's ahead of Loopring. It's ahead of some other DeFi swaps. It's number 7 in total value of liquidity, and it's just growing. And there's not, or total value locked. I'm sorry, that's what TVL is. Trading volume, number of traders. It is a top 10 DEX already, and it's just starting. Here's an example of the ZIL swap. You can see ZIL versus GZIL. They're starting to add charts about how those price comparisons work out. Connect a ZIL Pay wallet and just start trading here on the ZIL swap platform. Fees are pretty low. A lot of ZIL users, this is how they exchange ZIL for GZIL and back and forth. Another thing that they're doing, NFTs, very hot topic right now. They are partnering with football, otherwise known as soccer, all the major players, or a number of major players. Here's a list of them, just to show that they are just starting in end of April. They started working with Pepe and Diaz and Navas and Falcao and Raul Jimenez, all these Diego Costa, all these guys that play in either the Premier League or the European. These are high-end players, and they're doing NFTs with Zilliqa through their partnership. And you can see that those particular players were tweeting it out as well. Now we're going to talk about some of the guts of, like, these are all very cool projects that Zilliqa is doing. The meat and potatoes of Zilliqa is that it's a competitor to Ethereum because they have solved what's known as the scalability trilemma. What is the scalability trilemma? This was first defined by Vitalik Buterin. He's one of the guys who started Ethereum. He's still there. And it's 3 issues. And you're trying to get an answer that works for all 3. Can the project scale? Can it be nice and decentralized? And does it have lots of security? Now, the theory was this was pick 2 out of 3, much like when you have a new product development. You can be cheap, you can be fast, or you can be really good. Pick 2 out of 3 because you can't get all 3 in with what you want. So you have to pick 2 out of 3, compromise, and do the best you can. The scalability trilemma, ideally you'd want to have as much of this as possible covered, and Zilliqa, through what their approach to their blockchain and their algorithms and their architecture, solves a lot of this. And there's another number of articles that I talk about the trilemma and Zilliqa. Zilliqa gets mentioned a lot in comparison to how Cardano and other projects handle it. It's a workhorse. I will put all these articles in the link, and there's also some really good. There's a good video on this too, but it's how fast, how secure, and how scalable your network is. That's what really the question is. And if you dig into this one article, they specifically mention 2.0 is exploring this using sharding along with Zilliqa and Tezos and Qtum. Zilliqa had sharding from day one and it's Ethereum 2.0 before Ethereum 2.0 ever got there. So Zilliqa already has the sharding, already has all the elements of the trilemma that the layer 2 solves, without Ethereum having a partner with Matic and try to propose a solution to get themselves to their 2.0. Zilliqa is already there. So it is a major technological breakthrough in architecture, and they're executing it. They could scale very quickly. The transactions on Zilliqa are 1,500 transactions per second, which is comparable to the Visa network. And that's just what they've done in testing. As the network grows, it gets even faster. It can also settle transactions in under a minute because of the way that they do their security and the way they do their validations. So it's a really strong blockchain, has a lot of potential, has smart contracts. Lots of projects can go there and build on this platform. Huge upside for growth. So again, it solves the trilemma. And this video, which I'll share, I was digging into it further. It talks about how Zilliqa can really explode because they've solved this scalability trilemma problem. Now, before I start looking at the charts for Zilliqa today, which I'll look at both Zilliqa against the US dollar and also against Bitcoin, I wanted to share a little bit of an update on where we are with the ecosystem. So, let's see, I think this is the right image. Yeah. So this is an image of the Zilliqa ecosystem, where we're at today, being at the end of November. You can see that there's bridges, there's analytics, there's market trackers. Market trackers are similar to oracles. You got DAO, utility, you get games, you have different custodies and wallets, sporting events, governance with the GZIL, fan tokens, mining, all these different things. And it goes on and on. There's over 180 projects that are associated with Zilliqa at this point, including the Valkyrie Zilliqa Trust. It was announced in October. That's the first Valkyrie Bitcoin ETF that used
Valkyrie is involved in Zilliqa. They have a Zilliqa fund. And there are other projects, other companies that are reopening up or offering Zilliqa funds as well as far as crypto investments. So it's getting a lot of attention. So I just wanted to share what the ecosystem looked like and how big it's growing, as Zilliqa is considered another ecosystem that you project can build on top of it. And not quite an Ethereum killer, but it's part of its native language is smart contracts. But let's focus on the charts. So this is the weekly chart. So this is the weekly chart of Zilliqa against the US dollar. We could see that it went up pretty much its all-time high in April of 23 cents. And then it retraced it's down to 8-cent range. Now, a lot has happened in the last few months. First off, GZIL stopped in the towards the middle of October, and that saw the retrace of the price down from about 11 cents down to 8. It's because you're not getting the double rewards for staking. Both you get when you stake Zilliqa up until the middle of October, you got Zilliqa and also GZIL coins. The GZIL coins are no longer being minted, so your staking returns are a net. It's less. You've been cut in half. You're not getting the GZIL anymore. So some people started to sell off. Now, in a vacuum, you can look at this and say, what is the staking of Zilliqa? And Zilliqa's staking is roughly about 15%. Here's just Atomic Wall talking about it. So you can get a good 15% return on an investment. This is not financial advice, of course, but something below 9 cents, you can earn 15% for staking. Now, staking is a double-edged sword because you do commit your coins for, I think it's now 24 days. It used to be 14 with Zilliqa. They increased it to 24. So that means if you put your coins into a staking contract, that means you can't move them for 24 days. So if this price jumped from 8 cents to 80 cents, you couldn't sell those coins that were staked. So keep that in mind, and you may want to consider, just hedging your bets, having some staked and some not staked in case something like that happens. So, but as the price goes up, you get more earnings because you're paid in staking rewards in the form of more Zilliqa. So you're getting 15% more Zilliqa every year, and if Zilliqa doubles in price, that's essentially a net return of 30 cents plus the doubling of your initial investment. So it's something to consider, something to keep an eye on. But the chart doesn't look that healthy right now. For the last couple of months, we've been in a sideways channel between 6 cents and 13 cents, just kind of consolidating here, pretty much at a support level around 7 cents. Back in here with all this volume that was here, so you can see the supports about there. So it went up. It ran up from, I don't know, like 2 cents all the way up to 22, and then it retraced down into the 8-cent range. So figuring out that what this process, so forecasting the price of Zilliqa is always a difficult one. You can definitely see by the charting that, if this is a 50% retrace roughly, and you're going from 6 to 22, I put a Fibonacci retrace. If that turned out to be of course it's upside down because I always do it upside down. All right, so if that turns out to be a retracement, and this winds up being a wave 3, say like here, wave 3 of the 2.6, I'll draw both. So let me draw both. Now this is not financial advice. This is just me having fun with charting. But the two lines here are between between the green line of 33 cents and the purple line of 51 cents. You can make a case that Zilliqa could wind up in the 30 to 50 cent range on this next upswing, on the next bull run. That would be a 4 to 6x from its current price of 8 and change cents. So if you go from 0.0833 up to 50 cents, that would be a 6x move exactly. So something to be looked at. Now let's take a look real quick at the Zilliqa Bitcoin chart, and we're going to see similar things. And that's a monthly chart. So let me put this on a weekly just to get a similar time scale. And I'll have to zoom this up. But that's what we're looking at for the past year or so. again, it was down pretty low, 125 sats, came all the way up to 405, and now we're at the 152 line. So we're about 2.5, almost 3 times lower than the all-time high against Bitcoin. And if we break that line, we could be looking at a 4 to 6x pretty easily. Again, not financial advice, but it's something that you could see. The all-time price against Bitcoin. And there has to be a lot of scaling here. The all-time high, let's see what that number is. And that happened back in 2018. 1,500 sats, and it's 152 sats right now. So 10x, we're 90% down from its all-time high. So there's plenty of room for growth here, plenty of room for upside. Zilliqa is considered one of the competitors to Ethereum, and the ecosystem is growing, as I pointed out before. So lots to like about this project, but let's go draw our conclusions for today.
So there we have it. The Zilliqa. I still like the project. It's been, I'll say, languishing, for lack of a better word, for the last month or so since the GZIL rewards ended. But if you look at it objectively, the project's still giving out 15% or more for staking rewards, which is pretty strong. The coin is below a dime, so there's definitely got some upside potential because it's well off its all-time high, but the price appreciation could certainly be there. It just needs a little bit more of the ecosystem and a little bit more market penetration and a little bit more visibility. Get some of those things going, and I'll really like it. I'm not going to give it a 5 this time because I think the loss of the GZIL right now is important, and the lack of being really predominant out there in the marketplace is also missing right now. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I think that's a reasonable number for right now. Still strong upside, still strong. It's growing. As I showed the ecosystem for Zilliqa, we have 180 different projects right now and growing. And it's pretty easy to build upon Zilliqa, and there's a native smart contract language that they have called Scylla. But it looks good for the long run. I would not say that it's going to double tomorrow. Obviously, that would be insane if it did, but it's a strong project for the long haul. So I would look at this, and also for the long haul, you have to consider that other companies are making funds based purely on Zilliqa investing alone. So then it's not with Grayscale, but it's with Valkyrie, and there's a few other projects that are looking at it too. So I now have that in good information. So with all that said, I'm going to close the drawer on the bureau, and I'll see you next time.